Aloha bruddahz and sisters, how's it going, guys? Got a Paladin video for you today. Templar tank with some healing capabilities. The Paladin was actually one of the very first builds I put on my channel, and it's kind of what kicked off the popularity of this channel very early on from last year. Now, this build used to be a lot better before Zenimax decided to fuck shit up and change the mechanics of the game, for the millionth time after every single update. The proc sets on this character used to be a lot stronger in terms of its healing, and now it's just, very mediocre. But I still, I use this build sometimes. It's pretty fun. Wouldn't say it's the best build out there in terms of a healing tank or whatever, but you know what? It's just something that I kind of put together. More of like a theory craft, if anything. This build is very good in terms of survivability, healing players that are, stamina or close range build. Not the greatest for teams that have ranged DPS, only because a lot of your proc heals are they're basically connected to you, very close to you. So you need teammates very close while in dungeons or in trials or whatever. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to kickstart it as usual in the same format, right? Race, stats, and gear. Let's do it. So the two recommended races are Nord and Argonian, right? If you want a really tanky gameplay, I would go with Nord. With Argonian, if you want, a slightly better healer with some sustain, I would go the Lizard route. Terms of attributes, I like to have it split between magicka and health, right? Depending on your style of gameplay, you can go full magicka or full health. It really doesn't matter. Not really too much. Some of the stats here, right? And for the Mundus stone, I always like to go the Atronach just for that magicka recovery, since I like to heal a little more. And yeah, these are some of the buffs, just passives, and those are the food options, if it really matters that much to you. And here I'm just going to buff real quick with the restoring focus. And yeah, as you can see, 37k resistances, way past the cap of what you need to do content. Now the first gear set here I want to introduce is the Ironblood set, right? And that's from that the Minotaur dungeon. I forgot the name, but you'll see it if you search it up. I like this set because it makes it really tanky, right? Once you start getting hit, like reducing damage by 30% is just ridiculous. The only problem is that you become really slow, so you have to be very mindful of when this goes off and where you have to stand and position yourself, just because you don't want to get locked into place for too long. As a tank, you should be taunting enemies to get them off your team, and it might be difficult when you're moving very slow. Now, for your other set will be Almalexia's Mercy, and you have to have this on jewelry because it's a light robe set, right? And you want the Ironblood set to be on the heavies on the body since you're a tank. And this set is really good because once you start taking damage, you proc a heal that your allies will just automatically get passively if they're within 7 meters, right? And if you just look here, weapon traits, weapon enchantments, right? Just pause if you need to see what needs to be put on and what glyphs you need. And for my monster helmets, Bogdan Nightflame, another proc heal when you heal friendly targets, and you'll have so much hots on the ground all the time that this will go off almost all the time, right? And as usual, just to browse through what I'm wearing exactly, and as always, I don't have the recommended traits and stones that I recommended to you guys because I don't really want to spend my transmute crystals on this. I love this character a lot. It's gotten a lot weaker and it's fun to play. I don't use it as much, I like playing my healer, and yeah, that's why I don't want to spend too many crystals and shit on it. So a quick summary of the skills that I use. Right. Now you got Ritual of Rebirth. That's your main AoE burst heal. It's very expensive, so please be mindful of when you use it. Standard Ritual is your main AoE hot. I always try to keep it on the ground. People need to cleanse. I really love this skill a lot. Keep it in the front bar. Repentance is just a bar buffer, but it also is a good burst heal, right? If there's dead corpses around you. And Deep Slash is your minor debuff that I like to have. Catch all enemies before they can run to your teammates whilst in a dungeon. And Pierce Armor is your main aggro taunt, obviously. Lower enemy defense and all that. Every tank should be using that skill no matter what. You got Solar Disturbance, which is your ultimate. And this is like your debuff on bosses that I like to use. I only use this on bosses and not on enemies that are like mobs and stuff. Back bar, this is optional. You don't have to have a back bar, but I like to use Overflowing Altar, right? Mild HP restore when you damage them. A lot of tanks use this. Set it on the ground so people can burst heal themselves. Radiating regeneration. That's your hot, right, for your team. Repentance, I just have this as a bar buffer, but you can use another skill. So up to you. You don't really need it in the back. This is how I play it, right? Restoring focus, this gives you your resistances and your passive stamina restore. And some healing, which is kind of nice. I always have that on the ground. Make sure you always have that on the ground to keep you tanky. Illustrious Healing is your AoE hot. Right? It's kind of weak, but I keep it on the ground. And this is your powerful emergency AoE heal, which you might find yourself using if your healer needs a little bit of help. So this character is very easy to use, right? You just want to throw down your heal over times, taunt, and burst heal when necessary. Right? I don't want to go too in depth because there's really nothing else. There's no point of making fancy slides and all that to show you what you need to do. And yeah, use your ultimate on bosses when you need, or whenever you need it. And here is just a brief showcase of the champion points that I like to use. Yours can be different, right? This is not a make or break type of situation. You can pick whatever you want and whatever suits your playstyle. That's basically it for this video. Here I'm just going to end off with some gameplay. I'm going to show you a few clips. First, to show you the survivability of this build, right? Here I'm just standing. I think this is Deshaun, one of the Guar bosses, really, really hard hitting. And it's just, I basically just put it here. I don't even think I put on any of my own hots, to be honest. Yeah, dude, it's staying alive from the sets that it just has on this character from the passive heals. The Almalexia set and the Bogdan Nightflame helm. Here, right, I have to put down some hots to stay alive, but I mean, once you got extended ritual on the ground, restoring focus, you're pretty good. You're good to go. Obviously, if there are one-hit mechanics, you're not going to survive that no matter what. So just you got to know the game and the mechanics of other monsters essentially. But yeah, here it's hard to kill, man. Here you got some gameplay. This is Unhallowed Grave, one of the veteran dungeons. And I think some of these guys weren't too familiar with the dungeon at that point, so they did a really good job here. See how I'm walking so slow? That's not deliberate, by the way. I'm not walking. It's because of that Ironblood set. So you have to be very careful when that procs. Got to know where you're positioned. You got to use your dodge effectively and have pots on. And there you go, yeah. Some gameplay there. Here we got that Aegis. Yeah. And look at the healer's far away, kind of taking care of the other DPS. I'm here, it has great HP sustain. Just basically keeping myself alive for a bit so he can breathe a little with the DPS, So that's pretty cool. See, look at all those heals. And then, yeah, the final boss in the Unhallowed Grave. We couldn't do veteran because I've never done veteran on Unhallowed Grave and I don't know how it works. It's way too difficult. Yeah. So, mahalo so much for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Got more builds coming up soon. I got a Sorc healer coming up next. So take it easy, guys. Stay safe.